Imagine looking for months for that perfect home, knowing that you had very tight parameters for what you could actually qualify for and the type of financing you needed. And when you find that home and you get a seller who's willing to sell it to you for the price that you need them to sell it for, then all of a sudden a septic tank is going to prevent you from being able to qualify for financing? A septic tank. This is real world stuff, y'all. This is what really happens. And I have Chris with me from Massachusetts to talk about a real live scenario where one of his clients was about to be denied financing because of a septic tank. Good news is, I'll fast forward a little bit. They get the home. But how and why? That's the learning lesson. Check this out. So in this edition of Talk Mortgage to Me, I have with me my friend Chris Galli. Chris is a producing branch manager for Novus Home Mortgage. He's a 20-plus year veteran of the mortgage industry. He lives in Sarasota. He's licensed in 50 states. He's originally from Massachusetts. And Chris, you were telling me about this particular file. Now, I know the loan program very well. It's a USDA loan.
Correct.
Right? A USDA loan is a 100% financing loan that's available to people who are eligible, who are also buying in areas that are still deemed rural, because the USDA is for rural housing. Doesn't mean it's a farm, just means that the areas on the outskirts, a little bit more in the rural area. And it's a phenomenal loan program for the right people because it does allow 100% financing, which a lot of home buyers don't have that much money at their disposal to put down and still have money left over for things like closing costs or even like emergency funds.
Correct.
So walk us through this particular scenario, because first, this family, like what was the family size?
So they were a family of 5. So they had 3 kids.
Okay.
And with that, they had a 2-bedroom apartment that they've been living in.
So 5 people living in a 2-bedroom apartment. So
Correct.
all 3 kids are sharing a room.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. And I had been working with these folks for probably a year and a half. They had one deal that fell out.
So they had a
from
homeowner
under them.
contract, thought they were going to buy it, but for whatever
Correct.
reason, did it not appraise or had inspection issues?
Correct. It was, I think at the time they had some credit issues that we couldn't overcome at that point.
Okay.
So we had to do some work. But
So they fell in love with the home, came
Correct.
to you couldn't figure out financing. Instead of telling them no, because you're a great lender, great lenders don't tell anyone no,
Yeah.
you told them how.
Correct.
But how took them having to maybe put together a game plan and
Correct.
follow through. Okay.
And it took them a little longer than they had wanted, so they had to let this one home go. And I kept, we kept keeping them on the line. I would call them every 3 to 4 weeks. How are we doing with the credit? Did you do the things? We would run the what if scenarios and all that stuff, the simulators, to get them back on track. So we finally got the credit right. So we sent them back out to the market, which is, for them, they were skittish. They didn't want to go through the same thing again. And they finally found this perfect house. It had 3 bedrooms, so at least only 2 of their kids would have to share a room. And bigger, they had the prop land, everything that they needed. So we went in contract, and everything looked good. I mean, their income fell within the guidelines for USDA. The property was in the right place that fit into the USDA bucket. And we get about 2 weeks in, as you know, the loan process, somewhere around 4 weeks long.
Well, especially for a USDA loan. For those that don't know, I mean, when you're qualifying for USDA financing, if you make too much money, you're not eligible.
Correct.
If you have too much money in the bank, you're not eligible. And if the property is not in a rural area, you're not eligible.
You're ineligible.
So it's an
Correct.
amazing loan product, but it is pretty selective.
Correct. And that price point, when you get to those price points, especially in Massachusetts at the time, it's definitely a market that doesn't have a lot of inventory.
Correct. Yeah, you all in Massachusetts as well as in Chicago and other areas of the Midwest. I mean, it's pretty much a seller's market.
Correct.
It's 3 or 4 people making an offer on one home.
On one home.
Only one person can win. And it's not like Massachusetts is like the cheapest area to live.
No.
So I'm guessing that home was $300,000-$400,000.
It was probably, in this case, it was probably 300 or lower. I forget the exact price
Because
point.
it was in a more rural area.
More rural
maybe
area.
You get more bang for your buck in the more rural area.
And you get a bigger pool of buyers, right? I mean, everybody wants that house because most of the people can't afford the 400 or 500. So that demographic, when those houses pop up, you have.
Oh, so
it's tight.
It's
you have
super competitive.
Correct at
All
that
right.
point.
So you have a family that you've been helping for 18 months.
Correct.
You helped them get their credit up.
Correct.
They finally found the home. It's the home. Year and a half later.
The only home.
the only home. And they get their offer accepted, meaning they win the bidding war.
Correct.
And application looks good. The income looks good. The credit looks good. Appraisal came back at value or better.
Yeah, everything.
But there's this darn septic tank.
Correct. And
Walk us through it.
So what ended up happening was the appraiser put something into the appraisal that said that, I think it was 150 feet. You had to have the septic away from the well by 150 feet. And this was, he put in there, it was like 125 feet, which we didn't know where he came up with that, because in the field card back at the town hall, which in those little towns they call town halls, not city halls, but their card said it was over the 150 feet, and it had already had a USDA loan on it in the past.
Okay, so wait a minute. So the seller or a previous owner had already had a USDA mortgage.
Correct.
And when you go to the town hall, which is like the city hall for other people,
yes,
the city hall has all of the paperwork from when the home was built.
Correct.
And they're stating that the septic tank is 150 feet away from, and what has to be away from the well. So
from the well.
Yeah, because you don't want to drink where you poop. At the end of the day, right? Like, you don't want to have your drinking water.
Eat where you see.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Like, yeah. Correct. Yeah, you and I both are cut from the same cloth there, Chris. But yeah, so 150 feet is what is deemed to be safe.
Correct.
And the town hall says it's 150 feet difference between the septic and the well. But the appraiser goes out to the property, they do their measurements, and they get 125.
Correct.
So if you don't overcome this, you have a dead deal.
It's dead.
Dead.
Because USDA is like, I don't know what we did in the past. We have this documentation. We can't not look at it because it's in the appraiser. The appraiser put this, so it doesn't matter what you get.
You're going to have to go back to these people and tell them, I know you've been working hard for the past year and a half. I know you finally won a bidding war. You want to so badly move out of this 2-bedroom apartment, but this septic tank is going to prevent us.
Correct.
And many people would have thrown in their hat and said, sorry about your luck. I guess, good luck next time.
No.
But you didn't.
Well, I roll up my sleeve. See, I am a guy that if I see injustice, I'm the dummy that will put my head in the way of the bat, in a sense, to protect the underdog.
You're going to put on your cape and go be Superman.
That's
I love it.
So I said, there's no way that if this house was financed before that, we're not going to get it financed. It's just not it's not an option at that. So the only thing you can do, and specifically in a state like Massachusetts, is the state law can supersede, or county town law can supersede anything, as long as it's signed off on. But nobody wants to sign off.
Is that because it's the Commonwealth of Massachusetts?
Correct. It's the Commonwealth, right?
Yeah.
So, this town can say this doesn't interfere with their drinking water. It's fine with us. We deem it, or else the house would be condemned, right? In a county, right?
Our scientists say this works.
Correct.
Yep.
We're good with this. But yet the town, when I called, nobody was willing to put their neck out on it. They're like, yeah, but I can't sign off on that.
Yeah, I'll tell it to you, but I won't put it in writing.
Correct, but you did sign off on it when they did the septic back whenever they did. You did sign off on it to say it was deemed well and fine, but you won't now. So we basically, what we had to do is, I'm in Florida, they're in Massachusetts. Typically, I would go to the town. Like, if it's in my market, I'll drive an hour, 2 hours. I'll go there, knock down the door, kick the door down.
There we go.
I'm coming in, and I'm not leaving until we fix this.
Yeah.
So I called the listing agent and the buyer's agent, and I had them get the seller on the phone, and I said, you got to go in there kicking and screaming, because you can't move forward until this is resolved. Probably either way, no matter who the buyer is, whether it's any kind of a government buyer is going to run into this, and your $280,000 or $300,000 house is most likely going to be a government loan by
FHA, VA, USDA type borrower, type buyer. Yeah.
And you're going to run into this issue again, because now you got this appraisal that's tied to this property. So you have to go in there kicking and blazing pretty much. And through a lot of back and forth, I mean, it was a lot of back and forth to finally get the town to sign off on it, that we brought that. I literally had to call the USDA field office and outside of Worcester County, which is where it was. And I literally got them on the phone. I said, if I can get you this, will you sign off on this? And they said, that's the only way we can sign off on it is if we get something from the town. Which I think that the moral of the story is you want to make sure, whether it's your real estate agent that you're working with, that you put together the right team to work with that's going to fight for you, especially in a case like this, because there was no reason why this deal should be dead. I mean, we ended up having to extend it out. It took us probably an extra month before we got everything done in play, but everyone was on the same page that, you know what, we got to get this done no matter what, and we're going to get it done for this couple. Because at that point, the sellers already were vested with these buyers. They knew what their story was, and they knew how much it meant to them. So they wanted them to get the house as well. So it wasn't like, okay, if you can't do it, we'll just put it back on the market and sell it to someone else.
So I think the moral of the story is you don't take it at surface level. Like,
no.
don't take things at face value necessarily. Sometimes you have to advocate for what you believe in. You have to stand up for what is right.
Correct.
And you have to push a little bit harder, right? Don't take the first answer is no. Ask again.
Correct.
Ask somebody else. Ask the question differently. So how about this? If whether they're down in Sarasota, Florida, or they're in Worcester, Massachusetts, or anywhere in between, if somebody's coming up against a scenario that sounds similar to this, and they need your help, they want your advice, how does someone get a hold of you, Chris?
Well, they would call my cell phone. I give my cell phone to everybody. So my cell number is 508-450-6873. And then they could find me on any social media site. So under Chris Galli, Facebook, I'm big on Facebook. Also the Galley team on Instagram, and then Chris Galli on TikTok. You can watch. I give a lot of great information on all those sites to help a home buyer through tips, tricks, and then also my website, thegalleyteam.com.
And Galley is Galli. So
Correct.
he's Chris Galli. I'm Dustin Owen. He's with Novus Home Mortgage. I am with the Loan Officer Podcast, a.k.a. TLOP, and you've just tuned in to Talk Mortgage to Me. If you or someone you know is dealing with a situation that you feel like is unjust as it pertains to obtaining home loan financing, look into what Chris can do for you. Feel free to comment below in the comment section, or you can follow the link in the description, and whether it's Chris or a member of my team, one of us will be there to point you in the right direction and get you in front of the right people who can put together the game plan that allow you to turn your no into the next yes.